Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. We are back with another experiment for you guys. It's been a while, but today we're going to test out ammunition explosions. So let's get started. Alright, so if you didn't know, ammo tend to explode if you do certain things with it, like grind it down. From my experience, that's what I know will explode it. If you haven't seen my series Surviving as a Trader, that have happened and blown up in my face a couple of times so far. So just to show you what that kind of looks like, and it happened mostly with auto cannon magazines, and I think it does for every other types of ammunition or magazines in Space Engineers. But here's your auto cannon magazine. There's only one in there, and as proof of concept, I'm gonna turn off creative mode, and then in 3, 2, 1, grind it down. That's what happens. Not sure why it didn't do too much this time around, but if I spawn it once again and grind it down in 3, 2, 1. That's what's supposed to happen. So as you can see, it's significant damage. And if we want to test it with other types of ammo, like artillery shells, we could do that too. So when you grind it down, it will explode on us, like so. And just so that we don't have to keep respawning, we keep testing even the smallest ammo, I think we'll do the same thing. So here's some rifle ammo right there, and if we grind it, it does the explosion. I'm not sure what's going on with my sound right now. Yeah, it's something, I don't know if you hear it, but it's a little busy in the background a little bit, but yeah, whatever. Moving on. So any other magazines that we could play around with? I know like a rocket would explode, but let's try a pistol ammo. Here's a pistol ammo right here. If we grind it, it does the explosion. I'm not sure why the explosion sound's not working, but that's basically what generally happens when you grind down ammo. So what if we go a little bit further into this? Let's just say instead of grinding something down, why don't we weld it? Will that explode it? That's kind of the question and experiment I want to try in addition to shooting it. So in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so welding doesn't do anything, but to prove a concept, here is a grinder, and that blows it up. And it does somewhat of a significant damage right over here. All right, so let's just try our tried and true version of it. So that's the auto cannon. So if we did a little bit of a welding, will it explode? No. That's good to know, but of course grinding it will blow it up. But what about digging it? I highly doubt it, and it's probably going to create a little bit of a hole for us, but we'll test that out in 3, 2, 1. And the answer is no, so that's good to know. So of course we could grind it and explode from there. So once again, I'm not sure what's going on with the sound, but I don't have any explosions coming out of it. So what else is there? Explosives is another thing we could try. I'm pretty sure we can't weld it. If we can't weld it, we can't drill it. But of course, let's try grinding it in 3, 2, 1. Oh. Nope, there you go. It does explode. So what other items can be exploded? I think all types of ammos, artillery shells, those type of things can all blow up with the grinder. So you see right there. But can they be shot as well? It looks like we can't weld it. We can't drill it to make it explode. But of course, we're going to have to test out shooting it ourselves as well. Alright, so I'm going to equip ourselves with a trusty MR20 rifle. And that way we can try to shoot these things and see if they do explode. So first up is going to be our trusty auto cannon. I'll just throw that in there, and in 3, 2, 1, they do explode. That creates a bit of a nifty hole there. And I'm pretty sure any other magazines, artillery shells. Let's see if we can find something smaller, even the M20 rifles, something like that. And any sidearms is going to be right there. So testing out the sidearm, 3, 2, 1. That does explode. Magazines for a rifle, if I can aim. Does explode as well. And of course, the artillery shell does explode. So all that, whatever you could grind, you could shoot, it looks like. So that's interesting to find out. Now, one other test I wanted to try out is if you put in a whole bunch of them all at once, does it make a difference in terms of explosions? So we got 100k of artillery shells right in there. And if we shoot it, it's going to cause a bigger hole. I kind of doubt it. Oh, wow, it does. I was not expecting that. So if you... What? Interesting. So if you do want to make a big old explosion, look at that hole right here. I think that's as big or even bigger than a warhead at this point. Let's try that actually. Warhead. So if we put a warhead right over here, a large one, and we activate this, arm it, and shoot it. How big is this hole? It's much smaller than what we just created from an artillery shell. So that is quite interesting. Definitely was not expecting that, to be honest. So let's see if we did. Let's just max it out 9999 everywhere, all throughout, and throw in the artillery shells. Now in 3, 2, 1, how big of a hole we're gonna make here? A ginormous hole. And it creates these fake stones that you can collect too. So that's interesting how that works. Okay, so there is a threshold, it looks like. So these are identical in terms of the big hole. I think the different amounts make a different hole size. So let's just dwindle down the number right here by 1. 9 off. Shoot it. And it looks like that makes the same ginormous hole as well. Yep, it does. Making crop circles, basically. Alright, let's take out another digit. That creates... Ooh, wow. That still creates such a big hole. Okay. Let's go with 999. That's such a big sound when it just drops. So 999 makes a significantly smaller hole. Okay. So if we did 1000 and shot it, how big is the hole? It's probably small. Oop. That's going to be hard to tell. But, yep. Alright, that's small. So we're working in the thousands, it looks like. So 999, like, let's say 9,000. That's probably going to create a big old hole. And, yep, that's the case. So if we went, let's just say 5,000. What is that going to equate to? Pretty big hole as well. Oh, no, look, it's significantly smaller. So I think this one is that as small as that one we did over there? It looks like it. Actually, no, it's smaller. So these are the huge ones right here. And then this one's significantly small. So I think there's 4 different sizes. You have that little pebble of a crater, then you have this one, and then this one. And I don't know if there's going to be any other sizes, but you can always check it out. Maybe 3,000? So 3,000 gets us... Ooh, an even smaller one. So there are different sizes. That size is different than that and that one. So it looks like it does vary between how many of these we have to make a different size crater and size damage, I guess you could say, or radius of damage. That one's not significant, but slightly smaller than this one, right? No, that's the same. No, that is smaller. That's interesting. So a different count creates different radius of explosion. So now that was just artillery shells, but what if we did something like autocannon? Will it do the same exact thing, or that's going to be based on what's in there? That creates a big old hole too. So Pretty sure there's a different counts. I'm not gonna get into like the spreadsheets and stuff like that to say what exactly the count is to make this radius of a hole, blah blah, which would be interesting, but I'm very not into those kind of things to find out. I just want to get a gist of what's going on for the most part. So let's try something as small as sidearm ammo. Would it do the same thing? Here's your tiny little sidearm ammo. I can barely see it standing up, but in 3, 2, 1. Crazy as it sounds, it does create such a big hole just as well. If not bigger, it's the same. I think it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. So that's pretty interesting how that all works out. So ammunition does blow up with a weapon and also a grinder. And they all make different size blast radius or holes when destroyed. So if I grind it down, it does a significant hole as well. So those are your options for exploding ammunitions, and the amount that's in there does cause a difference in the blast radius. So things to know, or good things to know. Those are options for making big old craters in your floor, which is probably terrible. But imagine having all that ammo and then finding a way to explode them. It's much bigger than your warhead explosion. So are warheads even necessary anymore? Granted that you can get a warhead faster than you get all that ammo. Actually, maybe not, because warheads could be quite expensive also. All right, so now instead of all that, let's do this. Let's just work with smaller numbers. Let's see 1,000 of them. Let's see, 1,000 auto cannon magazines causes, all right, that's not a significant hole, which is perfect for what I needed to do. So I'm gonna do 1,000 here, 1,000 here, and we're gonna try our best to see if there is a potential for chaining explosions with our auto cannons or any other types of ammo. So we can mix it up. We can throw in some artillery shells. Ooh, don't know why that shot. And we'll throw in a whole bunch of stuff right over here. Let's see what happens. We could go with some smaller ammo, Gatling ammo. I know Gatling ammo does explode. It blew in my face before. What else is there? We'll throw in the smaller magazines, so we gotta get a little bit closer with these just in case. And there we go. So we have an array of explosives. Granted, they might not be close enough, but we're gonna see if we could chain these. If not, then oh well. But in 3, 2, 1, fire. And guess what? It does chain. So that makes for a pretty interesting firework there. So it's a bit hard to like get them all allocated in the right spot. But if it does chain, it would cause significant amounts of damage if we put in a bunch together, right? So we're just gonna explore as we go here, but I'm just gonna create somewhat of a longer train of them because I want to see it a little bit on a further distance, because I was a little too close when I did that initial shot. All right, so that should do it. So let's just shoot it from a little bit further of a distance if we aim it. So let's shoot this one right over here and see what that explosion looks like. Still hard to see. Big explosion, but it did chain. That's really interesting. So what if I did like a a truck that had a connector in the back and slowly let loose some ammo as a trailing system? And I might do that one day, actually, to see what that kind of looks like. But interesting to note that you could chain all that. So now my final test is going to be this, because we're going to add up close to 1 million of these amounts here. So I'm going to throw in everything, add it as we can. Cannons. We can do the NATO ammo. We can do all kinds of ammo, even the magazine ammos, rifle ammos, We could do even the sabos, which we didn't try earlier, but they do explode. I'm pretty sure of that. We got rockets. What else? I think that should be good enough. We'll throw in everything else. We did 2 rockets, but let's do a handgun ammo in there too if we can. Sidearm right here. All right, so these are about 1 mil each, and they're all grouped together. So what happens if we shoot it now? Would it make a bigger than 1 item hoe, or is it just gonna be 1 big hoe? All right, that lagged a little bit, and that is our big hoe right there. So I think grouping them, it is going to be, I can't really tell, but it may look slightly bigger. Maybe? It's a bit hard to tell, but I think there was multiple points of impact, so this might not even be a perfect circle in this case. So it might slightly be an oval, I think, but you see here there's different little voxel patterns there, so that kind of makes a difference, I think. Actually no, these have it too. I don't know. That hole looks slightly bigger, not by much. No, if I go further out, it's about the same. Okay, so that doesn't really work out. When you group them that close together, it doesn't really make a bigger hole. I was hoping it did, but guess not. But you know what? What if we were to say we spread them out a little bit more, and all these have close to 1 mil worth of ammo? And with the blast radius being so big, I'm not worried about how close I am with these things. Now's the time of going big or go home in this case. So I'm going to add a long line of autocannons just for fun. All right. So we have a nice long line of them. Not long enough, but I really think if I had a truck to do a nice little slow forward motion and drop them through the connectors, that would be really nice in terms of having this explosion happen. So what we can do, actually, let me just aim right there, and this might be a better view. I'm gonna aim right there and shoot it from this way. We're up close and personal, but we're gonna shoot it afar from with this view right over here. So let's see what that looks like in 3, 2, 1. Wow. So a nice chain that exploded really quickly. And you see that, yep, we made a little bit of an oval here now. So you can chain ammo explosions, which is cool. It does make a bigger hole and explosion than than your warhead for whatever reasons. So that is going to be a bit interesting. So even if I want to take this spot out right here and now, let's just say, here's an autocannon with close to 1 mil ammo. And if I can aim, we could blow up this whole base. Okay, so that's interesting though. So it appears that the voxel takes more damage than the grid itself. That's quite interesting. So let's just say here is our warhead. We're gonna arm it and we're gonna shoot it. So I mean, that doesn't create a big old explosion, so that's not too bad, but it did break the voxel quite a bit. I mean, not voxel, the grid quite a bit. So let's just say, for an example, if we did the same hull or platform, granted it's a little damage there, but nothing too crazy. And if we dropped our autocannon and let's just grind, we shoot it. It only creates a tiny bit of a hole. That's interesting how that all works out. So a warhead's definitely better for non-voxels. It's good for grid damage. But for some reason, ammo like this that explode doesn't really cause a lot of damage to a grid. And as you see here, yeah, not much of a hole there. So that's interesting. So now I kind of want to explore a little bit more now. So let's just say, for example, let's grab this ship here, one of our newest ships from the series. We'll throw that in there. And if we were to, let's just say, well, maybe let's just land it first. And I don't mind landing it hard. Okay, so we drop a whole bunch of ammo right here. Okay, and shoot this. How much of the ship is gonna go away before it hits the ground with the big old hole it makes? So in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that does significant damage to the ship. And we just create a big crater right here. Okay, so not too bad. Now, if we threw a warhead instead, and we're gonna use a large warhead, of course, for this testing right here. We'll throw it right here. And of course, we could just sit it kind of right on top of it. Like that. We'll arm the warhead, and we're gonna detonate it by shooting it. So, let's see. How much damage is this gonna cause? It pretty much destroyed all of the ship itself. So that is a big difference there. So let's do that again, just in case. We're gonna put that there. And let's just throw in a whole bunch of different ammo here. Just for fun. Okay. We're set here. And let's just get a better view this time around to shoot this. In 3, 2, 1. Okay. Looks like we're gonna have to do this. Point blank shot with a further back view. So we can see what this looks like. 3, 2, 1, fire. Alright, so that shot down the ship. But not everything. So it left a lot left out here. So that is the difference between a warhead and ammo explosions. I want to try one more time. Let's just do our ship again. But this time we're going to do small warheads. Let's just build it right off of the ship itself. Like so. And that way we can arm the warheads this way. All right, there we go. So I guess we could still do a point blank shot and see what that looks like. All right, so in 3, 2, 1, fire. All right, so small warheads, not very efficient whatsoever. As you see, not a lot of damage on here caused by it. But if we went large, I'm pretty sure it would disintegrate everything. And it did. So, once again, that is your difference between a warhead and ammo. Exploding ammo, at least. So, yeah. Alright, so that was a fun little experiment and good to know, I guess. So, if you enjoyed this episode, of course, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.